Please subscribe to our channel for more nature stories, and share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Have you ever looked up at the sky and wondered how the bird that soars as a symbol of freedom, the bald eagle, carries on its life and legacy? Today, we'll take you into its sky dance and the miracle of new birth. The first light of dawn touched the river valley, painting the mist in shades of silver and gold as it drifted over the dark crowns of pine trees. The water rushed below, a steady roar that had sung through these canyons for centuries, and in that vast stillness a cry split the air, sharp, wild, commanding. From the pale sky, a bald eagle soared, its white head and tail catching the rising sun like flashes of fire. Another cry answered, and soon a second eagle appeared, wings wide and powerful, circling in tandem. High above the valley floor, the two birds wheeled together, their calls echoing across the ridges. Then, in a breathtaking instant, they clasped talons midair, their massive bodies locked together. Spinning downward in a dizzying spiral, they plummeted toward the earth. Wind whipped around them, their wings folding tight, until at the last heartbeat they broke apart and soared upward again. It was not a fight. It was a dance. A ritual of trust, strength, and loyalty. The kind of spectacle that stops even seasoned woodsmen in their tracks and makes them whisper with reverence, "The eagles are courting." To most, these birds are a symbol. They are carved into monuments, printed on seals, stitched into flags that ripple over towns and capitals. But here, in the raw silence of wilderness, they are more than symbols. They are living, breathing creatures bound by instinct and devotion. Behind the power of their broad wings lies a tenderness, a story not of politics or pride, but of love. Their story stretches across an entire continent. From Alaska's frozen rivers where salmon leap against impossible currents, to the wetlands of Florida where cypress trees rise like sentinels from black water, bald eagles thrive wherever fish are plenty and trees stand tall. Along the Mississippi River, travelers often pause as dozens of eagles gather, their white heads gleaming like scattered snowflakes against the dark forests. In Yellowstone and Glacier, hikers tilt their faces to the sky, spotting a flash of wings above a sparkling lake. Everywhere they appear, these birds remind us that wildness endures in the bones of America. But even in the most remote valleys, survival is not enough. To endure, they must continue their line. Every winter, when the days stretch a little longer, instinct awakens. Hormones stir with the light, whispering to the eagle that the time has come to court, to bond, to prepare for young. And so, between December and February, the air fills with music. The sharp whistle of an eagle's call can carry for miles, a sound that pierces the cold like a silver blade. Pairs answer one another in dialogue, their voices weaving a pattern of belonging. Then come the dances, the cartwheels, the plunges, the chases. Sometimes they lock together and spiral. Other times, one eagle flips upside down in midair, talons extended, daring its partner to meet its grasp. Each maneuver is a test of agility, a measure of trust, and a declaration: we are strong enough to endure together. Unlike many creatures who take a partner for a season and then part, bald eagles rarely let go. They choose for life. The bond, once sealed, stretches across years, sometimes decades. And every winter they return not just to each other but to the same place, the same tree, the same nest perched high in cottonwoods or pines near the water's edge. They add new branches each season, weaving sticks and grass until the nest grows enormous, sometimes weighing more than a ton. It becomes a living monument, bigger than any other bird's nest in North America, a fortress in the sky where devotion is built stick by stick. On one cold February morning, a female arranges twigs carefully with her beak, shifting each into place as though designing a cradle. Beside her, the male swoops in carrying another branch, long and crooked, and places it at the edge. They work side by side in quiet rhythm, pausing only to survey the valley with sharp eyes. Below them, a river winds like silver ribbon, carrying fish that will one day feed their young. The sight is no accident. Every decision, from the height of the tree to its nearness to water, is chosen to give their future family the best chance to thrive. But before the eggs come, the invisible miracle must take place. Fertilization happens within the female's body, a swift joining of cells that sparks the beginning of life. No human eye sees this secret, but the promise of it will soon emerge. Within her, the fertilized egg grows, protected and hidden until it is ready to be laid. And when it comes, it will carry in its fragile shell the weight of generations. As February melts into March, the pair settles deeper into their roles. They guard their territory fiercely, chasing away intruding eagles or daring ravens that eye the growing nest. Each day they reinforce the walls with fresh sticks, line the hollow with grasses, and soften it with feathers. The nest becomes a sanctuary, suspended in the wind, a place where warmth will meet cold and life will push back against winter's grip. Even in this preparation, danger lurks. Storms can snap branches or topple entire nests. Hungry predators climb trees in the night. A careless fall or a broken wing could end it all before it begins. Yet the eagles press forward, their bond stronger than fear. It is instinct, but it is also devotion, a kind of fierce loyalty that feels almost human. On the horizon, clouds burn orange with the sinking sun. The valley grows quiet as the day slips into night, the roar of the river softening under a blanket of dusk. In the fading light, the two eagles perch side by side at the edge of their vast nest. Their silhouettes are dark against the glow, their white heads shining faintly like lanterns. They do not move. They simply sit together, watching as the world dims. The forest was hushed in the gray light of morning, broken only by the whisper of wind in the branches and the steady murmur of a river below. High above, in the crook of an ancient tree, a fortress of sticks stood against the sky. Within it lay the future of America's most iconic bird. Smooth and white, each egg gleamed faintly in the cool air, fragile yet full of promise. For weeks, the female had prepared for this moment, her body guided by instincts older than memory. Now the eggs lay cradled in the vast nest, guarded by two vigilant parents whose bond had been tested in fire and air. Day by day, the pair worked in seamless rhythm. One would stretch its broad wings and fly out over the valley in search of fish, while the other remained pressed close to the eggs, chest feathers puffed and warm against the fragile shells. They rarely left them unattended, even when storms rattled the trees and icy winds cut through the forest. Each shift of position was precise, each roll of the egg deliberate, ensuring warmth reached every side. The patience was endless, the devotion absolute. For 35 days, this vigil continued, a quiet labor of love high above the forest floor. Then one morning, a faint sound stirred from within the shell, a tap soft at first, then more insistent. The chick, blind and weak, pushed against the walls of its world with a tiny, sharp projection at the end of its beak, the egg-tooth nature had given for this moment. The struggle was long, stretching through the hours of day and into the night. At last, the shell cracked open, and a damp, trembling eaglet emerged into the cold light. Its cries were thin and fragile, yet they pierced the valley like a promise. Not all eaglets survive these first days. The wild is merciless. Larger siblings may claim more food, while predators prowl in the shadows, hungry for the vulnerable. But under the fierce watch of their parents, the tiny creatures are given every chance. With a tenderness that defies their size, the adults tear fish into slivers, leaning down to slip each morsel into the gaping beak of their young. The chicks, once little more than downy bundles, begin to grow before the eyes of the forest. Within weeks, soft gray fuzz thickens across their bodies, shielding them from the chill. They wobble on unsteady legs, their oversized talons gripping the woven sticks of the nest. By 10 weeks, their wings stir restlessly, each beat sending flurries of down into the air. The nest becomes a training ground, the air alive with awkward flaps and clumsy hops. Strength builds slowly, but instinct drives them forward. One day, a fledgling perches on the edge, the valley yawning below. The wind lifts its feathers, and for a moment, hesitation clutches its small body. Then, with a sudden push, it leaps. Wings open wide, the eaglet plunges, awkward and unsteady, branches scraping its sides. For a terrifying moment it seems certain to fall, but then the air catches it, lifts it, steadies it. The first flight is ragged, clumsy, but it is flight nonetheless. What begins with crashes and tumbles grows into soaring grace, until at last the young birds ride the same currents as their parents, their cries echoing across the open sky. By late summer, the transformation is complete. No longer helpless, the juveniles dive toward rivers, talons slicing the surface in pursuit of fish. They scavenge along shores, their keen eyes catching every flicker of movement. Their heads are still dark, not yet crowned with the brilliant white of maturity, but their power is undeniable. They have grown into hunters, heirs of a lineage that has ruled the skies for millennia. Yet the miracle of birth does not end with flight. It stretches beyond, into survival, into the endurance of the species itself. And for the bald eagle, survival once hung by a thread. Not so long ago, their numbers collapsed. Pesticides like DDT poisoned their food, weakening shells until eggs shattered beneath the weight of parents desperate to protect them. Forests were cut, rivers choked, and by 1963 only 417 nesting pairs remained across the lower 48 states. The sky, once alive with their calls, grew silent. But America chose not to let its symbol vanish. Laws were passed, chemicals banned, habitats restored. Wildlife biologists and volunteers guarded nests, counted chicks, and taught a nation to value what might have been lost. Slowly, against the odds, the eagles returned. Today, more than 300,000 soar once again across North America. The comeback is one of the greatest in the history of conservation, a living testament to what is possible when people fight for the wild. And so the eagle's story is not theirs alone. It belongs to all who look up and feel something stir when wings cut the sky. It belongs to the rivers and forests that shelter them, to the fish that feed them, and to the hands that work to bring them back from the brink. Their survival is a mirror of our own, a reminder that when we protect the eagle, we protect the land and water that sustain us all. Far above a riverbank, an eagle lifts from its nest, wings spread wide, riding a current into the endless sky. Below, a flag stirs in the wind, its colors bright against the trees. The two images merge. The bird and the symbol, both fierce, both enduring, both reminders of freedom. The cry of the eagle splits the air, wild and eternal, calling us not only to admire, but to act. To care. To keep watch, as faithfully as the eagle keeps watch over its young. For in doing so, we ensure that future generations will look up, see those wings against the sun, and know that the miracle endures.